Welcome to the podcast Neuroplasticity. And this is a podcast that we created and we are investing on it to support the Peter Koyen Foundation. And we want to bring, first of all, the questions that we ourselves experience, but also the questions that we receive along the way. And we want to bring information, we want to bring new ideas how to deal with some parts of the neurodiversity, but we also want to bring awareness about what is neurodiversity and what can be happening that sometimes is inside of the neurodiversity and we just don't realize. And why this is so important, because the studies are showing that not more than 5 years, 45% of the workforce will be diagnosed with neurodiversity. Of course, we can create a lot of questions with this. Maybe this means that we need to assess, first of all, what we consider normal in the working brain. That is the first thing that I'm advocating for that. I think we need to stop and see if whatever we get as normal is still the normal. I don't believe so. And the second step is, what can we do? What we honestly need to do, because it's more space for people to feel really not belonging, and even worse, feeling that they are wrong and they are not. And the third thing, of course, is to amplify the life of a neurodiverse person. And why this is so important? Because it's so easy that we, as I don't like the word, that's why I'm struggling. If we consider that everyone in this earth is using strategies, can you imagine that someone that has a neurodiverse circumstances, they will amplify the use of those strategies, and with the belief, as we all go, that that is the only way. And what we want is to really amplify the choices. We do that in a broader way, but we want also to bring this to neurodiversity, because I think is even more relevant that neurodivergent individuals have the possibility of choice. One of the things that I want to bring here is exactly upon this point, is that as a mom also of an autist child, I know that is sometimes a glimpse, sometimes a short and very deep desire that this will be different in the future. This will probably, change. For instance, in the case of my son, when he started saying some words, so Adam is what is defined as non-conversational, so he cannot keep a conversation, but he says words. So he can say words. What is pretty incredible, because most part of the times he also now can show and say what he wants. But when he started saying more words, was like, oh, in my head, of course, was a glimpse of what this means. Means that he's going to start talking. Means that he's going to be this, like this young man that started writing at the age of 18, I think, and now he's a professor in Harvard. So it's like, will be my son that person as well? And it's a glimpse, because it's so hard to imagine that our sons, our daughters, are facing the world as it is, not having all the things that the world asks for at this moment, at least. I'm pretty sure that in 10 years things will be a little bit different. I'm working on it, and I know that you are with me. So the thing is, this glimpse of change, or this glimpse of, can this become a different thing, the desire of the healing, or the desire that the child suddenly is not autistic anymore. I think it's not bad. It's not a thing that I think we even can control. But for me, it's more how we use that. For me, it's much more about what I will be doing now that I have this short, small, deep desire that, for instance, my son could speak. I use that to get more, like, can I do something about it? So, for instance, when that happened, what started was that I stopped helping so much Adam to communicate. So, for instance, on the table, a lot of times before he could express some words, I will be almost like doing the translation for him, so I could understand what he was doing. We have a very close and deep connection. So I could understand, so I was like helping everyone, whatever everyone was, like my daughters, or even my parents-in-law, everyone. I was almost like helping Adam to in being his translating. I was translating what he was saying. And what I realized is that when he started saying some words, I realized, like, oh, I'm not giving him maybe the time and the space for him to be him saying it. So I stopped doing this translation game. Okay, I stopped when he's with his sisters or at the table. I really stopped helping him out. So I made it a little bit more hard for him, in the sense that he needed really to go for the word. And that's how I use the, let's say, the desire of him speaking more, and maybe one day even speaking in a conversation. So instead of keeping that desire as a fantasy, instead of keeping that desire as something that could take me easily, and I think for a lot of people takes them easily, for the frustration, because it's not coming in a speed that maybe we expect. So I use that to say, okay, how can I support this growth? How can I support this development? And that's, I think, a different perspective from I want only that he gets in a different stage, right? Is saying, what can I do? What can I do from this side? What can I do to give him more, to amplify him? So if you look to your son, your daughter, your partner, your colleague, that is you maybe know that is in a neurodiverse spectrum or neurodivergent spectrum, it's much more about that. It's much more about how can I support what is already happening, to amplify, right? To make it grow, to make it developing. So if you stay in this, I think the let's say your role is much more that supporter. Is saying, wow, I'm seeing what is happening and I'm going to act upon this new data, and not expecting that this data means already something, but what can I do to amplify this new data, these new circumstances. And going above this, I think, is a huge, and with the families that I work, I see that a lot. And I'm not saying that I totally get you, believe me, but I think can be a huge space for frustration, sadness, and worries, because if you don't see anything happening, it's probably normal that you get worried, like what this means and what is the consequences of this for the future of my son, or even my partner, right? What will happen? I remember when Peter was at the hospital, and it's almost coming the 5th of December, right? So it's a marked day, because it was the day that we found out that what was going on with him. And I remember that he was at the hospital when he went to be operated on the 20th of December, sorry, and was a man in front of Peter, that he was there because he had he became neurodiverse. So he had, I think, a stroke, and he became neurodiverse. And one of the things is that he was there because his wife passed. He was, I don't know, maybe 70 or something. And his wife passed, and he was alone at home. So can you imagine this woman, the thought of this woman, as the thoughts of many of us, right? Many of us. What will happen when we are not around? And I think most part of parents think about this, but I believe we think this in a very different way from what I talk. And I think we think this in a very, very different way. So it's okay to, let's say, to want more for your kid, but instead of wanting the healing or that even the neurodiversity goes away, can we amplify what we have? Can we make sure that what we have right now is amplified to the maximum, that they can use that as even sometimes a talent? Okay, so this is what I want to bring to you, is that this idea of how can you use this glimpse, this desire, I will call it like that, that things can be different. How can you use this thought to really bring a different role for yourself, and also to really be supportive of your child, your partner, or even your colleague. Thank you for listening, and I want to give you a sweet reminder that when you buy this book, not only is an amazing book, you are also contributing for the foundation, the Peter Koyen Foundation, because Peter wrote this book together with Marco, and Marco, with huge kindness, is donating all the royalties of this book to the Peter Koyen Foundation. So when you are buying this book, and this Christmas, you are also supporting the Peter Koyen Foundation, and you have with you the Bible of transformation. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for supporting us. And if you have any questions, or you know a place that we could go, a school, an institution, a community that we could go and do a talk or a workshop, please get in touch with us. We are open to do that. And guess what? Because we have some kindness and some support, we can do that for free. So let us know, get in touch, and we are super willing to, change mentalities. Thank you so much for listening.